A lot of people think that Bitcoin will always be the most important cryptocurrency. This doesn't make sense to me, especially given how close we are to rules and how close we are to application being the main driver behind all of this. We need to talk about this, and we'll do so in this video, especially if you hold XRP. So make sure you stay until the end. And with that, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick, and if you're new to the channel, I hope that by the end of this video, you become a subscriber. Let's get started and let's talk about what you know about Bitcoin. As of right now, Bitcoin has a market cap of $1.8 trillion. Many people are very optimistic about Bitcoin and think it will reach $1 million. They are going there and here. When it comes to Bitcoin, one thing I've always been critical of is the time it was created. Okay, when I think about the time of destiny, I'm not thinking about the times. There is no age that takes minutes to settle in my mind. It builds up slowly. When I think of a challenge or technology, if you will, that is so new that I can send tens of millions of dollars for a very low fee and almost instantly. It's very inconsistent. If we're thinking that XRP was basically created for this very reason, we know that Merrington Capital tried sending $50 million using XRP and paid a fraction of what you will pay on basically just a small exchange that talked me about, dollars. I mean, XRP is one of the best cryptocurrencies out there, and DLT is here to help you send, receive, or just make any kind of trade. Right now, the market cap of XRP is $8.2 billion. On the other hand, I think that XRP will eventually flip Bitcoin. Is it going to happen the next time? Probably not. That being said, I believe XRP will be a huge success, especially in a controlled software push market where the prices are not set by you. Michael Saylor making a statement on live TV that you understand $1 million is where Bitcoin goes to visit. As the market's hype and speculation phase comes to an end, the most important thing that will determine price is how widely adopted and used the networks really are, and the factor that determines that is how efficient they are. I want to talk about this in more detail because as we look at what's happening right now, the most important thing to keep in mind is whether or not international asset tokenization is real. This has been secured. Securitized has been pretty much killing the game. They were working with institutions and some of the biggest players in the market to move it to a chain-by-chain basis through tokenization. We could see that some of their players were already using them for tokenization jobs. Right here is BlackRock, plus Hamilton Lane, KKR, and a few more. If we really look at the view more closely, you can see some of the other players who might be on this. Not a small amount of tokenized money is already used on a few very large networks. But I bring up stocks because you already know how popular they can be. For example, BlackRock launched the first tokenized fund in March, and that's when we saw that. This happened on the Ethereum community through securities. At that time, many people were saying things like, oh my gosh, Ethereum is going to be the biggest thing ever. As we look at this now, big players like BlackRock, they might be dipping their toes in right now. A lot of this is just tens of millions or even billions of dollars, but we haven't seen the real money yet. But back in May, Securitize announced a $47 million strategic investment round led by BlackRock, which included other players as well. But most of you already know about BlackRock. This proved that BlackRock was here, and they're putting pretty much all of their money into technology. It's for good reason, which we'll talk about in a moment. But even more so, if we look at the Securitize story, we see that real international assets are being tokenized. And they say that back in 2017, they thought that blockchain technology would bring automation and liquidity to alternative asset instructions. They built Securitize because they knew the time didn't exist. And it was easy to see the whole timeline here, starting with 2024 as an example. As their value has been rising quickly, they have become a major player in the tokenization of almost everything. All around us, though, they have a few very big universal board of administrators like those from BlackRock, plus a few other companies. But look at their advisory board. This advice board is really full of smart people. Tweets, Google, banks, Barclays, the SEC led JP Morgan even things out right here. We also see that you already know about the latest commodity swap at the World Economic Forum. What's going on is really kind of crazy, and the way James Wallace, VP of Central Bank Engagements at Ripple, does things is interesting. If we look at their buyers list, they have a very long one, and of course we have Ripple here with SBI shares as an example. So it's clear that Ripple has a very small amount of risk to Securitize also. If we look back at this from 15 hours ago, we can see that Standard Chartered Zodiac's made a deal with Securitize BlackRock as a tokenization partner. Now that Zodiac Prison has signed up with security, and finally, we want to let you know that our relationship with Zodiac Custody gives institutional buyers safe and legal ways to store tokenized items like Crocs Biddle. We're also bringing together or bridging traditional finance and virtual property to show businesses the tools they need to deal with this changing market with confidence. Now, they do say down here that you know about the cryptocurrency and tokenization market, as well as how big those markets are going to be in general. Will this give people access to XRP? So let's talk about that. Here, Ripple is starting to follow Securitize. As an investor, Securitize is one of the best ways to get access to unique private market alternatives like private equity, personal loans, and more. Additionally, if we look over here, securities were at Ripple Swell return in the middle of October, and this was called the strength of tokenization in the virtual technology. They were also on level with Northern Trust and Archix, and if you know who Archix is, you know that they recently announced that they worked with Ripple to launch the first tokenized cash market fund on the XRP ledger. And going back to the summer, they said they were adding tens of millions to the XRP system as well. But I need to come back to this because James Wallace agreed with them as well. And just like I showed you guys back over here, we're going to come down to James Wallace. He's below the board of directors or their advisory board. Sorry, building on that, we have a video from Ripple Swell. That's Carlos Domingo, CEO and co-founder of Securitize. He talks about how tokenized funds are changing the way money is handled. Securitize is putting the sector on chain by registering ownership rights on the blockchain so that banks and traders can get real global belongings. The future of tokens is now, which is why I started the company and gave you my resignation in 2017. That was the start of the first wave of interest about tokenization. Crypto changed into a very small amount after I started the business. It used to be a $20 billion business, but now it's worth $2 trillion. At first, I thought that the same generation layer should be used on daily items to make them easier to buy, cheaper, and easier to make transactions. This goes back to December 4th, 2023. A lot of people forgot about this. It goes all the way back to the standard charter back in December of last year. Zodiac Custody joins Ripple's global crypto storage community. Now, once more, Zodiac Custody just signed a deal with security, okay? And of course, when we think about what Medico's turned into, it's Ripple Custody access to the whole virtual asset world right now. In case you really don't know, the XRP system is used in everything that has to do with tokenization and Ripple Custody. We've broken this down many times before, but remember that Ripple paid for protection.